तदा बंधो यदा चित्तम् किंचिद्वांछति शोचति किंचिन्मुञ्चति गृह्णाति किंचिद् हृष्यति कुप्यति. So, tada bandha. Bondage is only then. Meaning, bondage has a reason. What is the reason? Yada, when chittam, the mind, kinchid vanchati, it has a desire. The immediate reason for bondage is these, the immediate reasons. No, what a difference between the immediate reasons. Man understands only the immediate reasons, but not the fundamental reason. He doesn't even know even the fundamentals about the fundamental reason. It is the fundamental reason that the Shruti wants to handle. Shruti wants to correct the fundamental reason. The immediate reason for bondage is yada tada bandha yada chittam kinchid vanchiti, when the mind wants something. Even a small little thing. Because fulfillment of a desire is uncertain. Therefore, every desire is associated with anxiety. It is associated with anxiety because it's not certain. You perform an action with an expectation. Whether the expectation will be met or not, it is always uncertain. So wherever there is uncertainty, there is anxiety. Wherever there is uncertainty, there are sleepless nights. Wherever there is anxiety, Max becomes richer and richer. Yes. Haji. Kinchid vanchati, shochati. Or when there is bondage, when you have a problem. When there is desire is the immediate reason for the bondage, the crisis. And when there is a problem, even if it is easily solvable problem, there is anxiety. Pata nahi kya hoga. Anxiety cannot be taken away by. Anxiety may have gradation. One may have more anxiety, another may have less anxiety. These are all graded things. They are all very graphic. And supposing you are a very daring person, you may have less anxiety. But anxiety is always there in some degree. Anxiety cannot be negated along with the desire. Anxiety cannot be negated along with any problem, even a small problem. And among problems, you have bigger problems, smaller problems. Associated with them, you have bigger anxieties, smaller anxieties. It's a bondage. I mean, he is telling this, I am going to come up with the real explanation. These are not bondage. Desire doesn't bind you. Desire is the result of bondage. Bondage is only to the form. I am bound to this form is called bondage. Man thinks I am bound to desire, I am bound to the children, I am bound to the duty. That is what man thinks is bondage. Bondage is not getting bound to any duty or commitment, they are all the symptoms of results of bondage. Therefore, the definition of bondage is that to feel bound to this form, to feel confined to this form. And a feeling of confinement is very, very notional. Bondage is notional. Therefore, desire is also notional, linked to that notional confinement to the form. Every problem is linked to the fundamental problem of confinement to the form. Therefore, the very definition of bondage is not known to man. If man has no political freedom, that is another one kind of political bondage, economic bondage. Economic bondage you call, or economic dependence. These are all just used one for another. Bondage, dependence. But the definition of bondage as known to a man is not true, is not right. A layman's definition, the universal definition of bondage is not true, because according to them bondage is if you are short of money, you are bound. If you have no job, you are bound. Any empirical problem is defined as a bondage. That's nothing, Empirical bondage is not bondage. It is the confinement to this form that is bondage. Spiritual bondage is bondage. Therefore, one doesn't have to live in a fool's paradise. What is that fool's paradise? Thinking that desire is a bondage and problem is a bondage. Therefore, if I have no desire, then I will be free. If I have no problem, then I am free. This is called a fool's paradise. Because bondage is the sense of confinement to the form. I have to break that sense of confinement. I have to break in the sense I have to understand. Breaking means it's not a struggle. I have to educate myself about my existence as something that is not confined to the form. The way the water has to break its confinement to a form called wave. So I am not confined to the form. I accommodate the form. In fact, there is no form. In addition to me, there is no form. Me alone is. Therefore, consciousness is not confined to the form. This, the conscious being has to understand. Therefore, desire is not a bondage. Birth is not bondage, death is not bondage, political bondage is not bondage. That's nothing. Even staying in a prison house is not a bondage. Bondage is a sense of a breakable, a falsifiable, a negatable sense of confinement to the body. A falsifiable sense of confinement to the body, to the form, is called bondage. I am bound to this form. This is the fundamental bondage. And even if one thinks I am not bound to this form, the whole universe is my form, even then it is a bondage. Non-confinement is freedom. Existence is not confined. If a person thinks he is not confined to one form, but he is confined to all forms, the whole universe, my Virat Hu. Instead of thinking I am confined to this form, the whole body is my Sharira, if one thinks, then it is a bigger problem. Thou art Virat is not meant to shift your confinement to one form to confinement to all forms. It is meant to say that you are not confined to this form. Bas, itna hi hai. Like when a person goes to sleep, you don't shift from one form to another form. When you leave one form, then you are formless. Shifting from one form to another form is a different situation. Whereas becoming free from form is different. Therefore, when a person has desire, the immediate reason, a layman thinks when there is a desire, I am bound. When there is a problem, I am bound. Kinchin munchati. When you renounce, it is bond. If you have something to give up, then it is a bondage. Because there is anxiety, will I be able to give up? In fact, giving up also is not easy. Just as achievement is not easy, giving up also is not easy. Sometimes buying is easier, selling is not easy because there is no buyer. Getting rid of is not easy. Therefore, kinchin munchati means when somebody has something to give up. That is how it should be translated. When man has something to give up, he has got anxiety. If he has something to sell, he has got anxiety. If he has got something to buy, he has got anxiety. If he has got something to grinhati means if he has something to achieve, there is a bondage felt, anxiety felt. Kinchid hrishyati, or when man has something to be elated about, it is a kind of a bondage. You have something to be elated about. Your granddaughter's marriage, elated. But along with that elation, there is anxiety also. Pata nahi kaise hoga. Mary granddaughter, how will he stay in her in-laws' place? Every pleasure is associated with anxiety. Amazing. These are all simple things in life to understand. It is not great. No debates are required. It's so clear that every elation is associated with anxiety. Kinchid hrishyati, kupyati, and when you are agitated, it is a bondage. Kupyati means anger. Any emotion, frustration is bondage, anger is bondage, agitation is bondage, restlessness is bondage, because you want to get rid of it. This is how Ashtavakraji says, but let me say, these are not bondage. These are the results of bondage. The bondage is the sense of confinement to the form. I am the form. This is the unlimited feeling confined to the limited form. It's like the whole ocean feels confined to a bubble. Just imagine, think like that. The entire oceanic water thinks that I am lost in a bubble, I am confined to a bubble form. Quite a big contrast, Ji. There at least bigger size being confined to a smaller size, but here it is unlimited, Ji. For the unlimited there is no example, there is no simile, proper simile. Simile has to be different from the topic. If the unlimited needs the simile also cannot be unlimited. It can only be big, figuratively unlimited, not literally unlimited. Like the ocean is figuratively unlimited. The space is figuratively unlimited. Because it is unlimited only in the waking state, it doesn't extend to the deep sleep state. In that way, I say that waking space is not literally unlimited. It's not literally boundless. It's not literally infinite. It is figuratively infinite. Therefore, the simile for the unlimited, very difficult to get. For a buffalo, you can get a simile because there are so many animals look like buffalo. There are bison is a simile for a cow. There are so many. A glass piece is a simile for the diamonds. How does the diamond shine? Exactly like a glass piece. Like this we have a simile. But for the unlimited, where is the simile? Unlimited is like what? Understand, there is nothing like the unlimited. The unlimited is unlike everything. Therefore, unlimited has to be understood as unlike everything, not like. Wherever the like works, simile works, that is anumana. Anumana means, you infer things through similes. Where the sense data based inference is used, like you see, the source of the universe must be inert. What is the drishtantam? Just as the pot is a creation, it is made of the inert. Just as the pot is made of the inert, just as means drishtantam. Just as the pot is made of the inert, the table is made of the inert, and therefore the universe, which is a form, is also made of the inert. In this manner, you can always give examples for the limited. And those examples are used by the logicians. Sankhya school uses similes, drishtantas. Logic means drishtantam. Logic means simile, drishtantam, example. We have two kinds of examples in the Shastram. People can get confused also about this. I'll tell about that. But to begin with, understand, truth has no simile. Truth has no simile. Happiness has no simile. It is Advaitam ji. Freedom has no simile. Peace has no simile. The subject's one's existence has no simile. If one's existence has no simile, so then how does one explain away one's existence? Unlike everything. That is called neti neti. Unlike everything. Unlike everything. Truth is unlike the five elements. Unlike time. Unlike anything that begins and ends. It is unlike means free from, unlike. The subject is unlike even the subject-object relationship. It is unlike. This is called Vyatireka Drishtantam. It's like this, Drishtantam. Unlike this, Vyatireka Drishtantam. Rama is like whom? You can't say Rama is like Krishna, because both are the same. I can say Rama is unlike Ravana. There is nobody like Rama, because everybody had a flaw, but Rama did not have a flaw. Considering that, you don't have to come up with a Purvapaksha. How can you say Rama did not have? We are not going into that debate. Considering that Rama is flawless, and I consider he was even if he is a human being, but he is a good human being. In fact, I would like to see him as a very ideal human being. So what? And in a way, divinity is the truth of everybody. If you don't want to call him Avatara, so what? I can think of divinity in the image of a good human being. Like you can worship divinity in the form of Gandhi, your mind doesn't resist Ji, because he has some similarities. You can worship divinity in the ocean, the mind doesn't resist. You can worship divinity. Understanding divinity is in everything. Divinity is there in everything, including the fecal matter. What does it matter? That is different. But if you have to worship, you have to really know that puja path karna hai. Then you can always invoke divinity in the form of Rama, in the form of Krishna, in the form of Guru Nanak, in the form of Guru Govinda Singh, in the form of Christ, or in the form of anything, in the form of a peepal tree, in the form of mother and father. The mind doesn't resist. Where the mind doesn't resist, that form you choose for worshipping, for invoking divinity in that form. That is called Vibhuti Yoga. Bhagavan says, where your mind takes to worship as duck to water, where the mind takes to prayer as duck to water, and in whichever form it can happen, you choose that form. Srotasam Janhaviyaham. Srotasam, among all the rivers, I am Ganga, Bhagavan says. So worshipping divinity in Ganga, invoking, I am using the term very carefully. Invoke, you don't worship Ganga, you don't worship that water, you invoke divinity in that water. You invoke divinity in a cow. You invoke divinity in mother and father. You invoke divinity in a peepal tree. You invoke divinity in a teacher, a Daivam, or a Devata. Divinity is Paramatma. Therefore, if you think everything has got a flaw in this world, then all right, think of a Devata, Vayu Devata, Agni Devata. Think of Agni Devata. Agni as a Devata is supposed to be flawless. Invoke divinity in that form. We do not worship a form, we invoke divinity, the truth, in that form. Like there is a picture of your great grandfather. You give him arati. In that picture you are invoking the presence of or the memory of. You are invoking his grace. What is there? It's a simple thing. It's absolutely not the topic for debate. It's a waste of time to go for debates for these things. And therefore Rama is like whom, ji? Is unlike all. Divinity is like what? Unlike all. Truth is like what? Unlike all. That is called the unfoldment of the truth. Neti, neti. It is unlike this, unlike this, unlike this, unlike this. If it is a mountain, this mountain is like that mountain. You can always say, this stone is like that stone, etc. Limited objects. In the realm of Dvaitam, every object has a simile. But the unlimited has no simile. You know, one drishtantam is that. This you have to follow, ji. Little terse. And then go into the verse first. First I will tell this. There are two kinds of drishtantas in the Shastra. Brahman is, in a way to say, somehow a simile has been given, even though it is unlike everything, but it is vast like space. So the space is kind of a upamana, like a simile. Call it upamana, call it drishtantam, it doesn't matter. Drishtantam means a known thing. Brahman is like the space. Who says this? Shabda Pramana says. That means I am not inferring Brahma's existence, Brahma's unlimitedness through the space. Space is unlimited, therefore Brahman is unlimited. I am not inferring. It is a part of unfoldment, not a part of inference. Swamiji, is there a difference? Yes. You have to know, you are supposed to know all these things. Shruti conveys that Brahman is unlimited. Like what? Like the space in the waking state is unlimited, meaning it accommodates every bit of air, fire, water, earth, everything, the entire creation. All the four elements are accommodated by space. Brahman accommodates everything. Brahman is unlimited like space. So the space is being used to unfold Brahman, to unfold the nature of Brahman. It is a part of teaching. It is not a part of inference. The space is unlimited, therefore Brahman is unlimited. There is no therefore there. Space is unlimited, therefore Brahman is unlimited. The moment you bring in therefore, it means reasoning. That means it's logic. It's logic. Therefore is used also by the Shastra in the context of the logic used by the Shastra. Anubhava based logic. But the logic used by the Shruti doesn't use that logic to infer the existence of the truth. It uses the logic to convey the truth which is its vision. The Shruti has its vision that man is Brahman, the Jiva is Brahman. In the light of his own experiences, he is unlimited. And that he is unlimited is conveyed to the world with the help of logic. Logic is used to convey, not to infer. Very huge thing, ji. Shruti uses logic not to infer anything. It's not inferential logic. It is a corrective. It is just to convey. It is to help the student to grasp what is said by the Shruti. So the Shruti says Brahman is unlimited. Like what? Like space in the waking. Is the Shruti using space to infer Brahman? You have to follow this. Is it using space to infer Brahman? No. It is only using space to unfold, convey, communicate the unlimitedness of Brahman. It's not. This is one kind of Drishtantamji. The other kind of Drishtantam is sense data based inference. Whatever I throw up, it comes back. Therefore, I infer the earth has gravitation. It is inference, valid. Of course, it's valid. I see the smoke, therefore there should be fire around. What is it? I am inferring the very existence of fire. Am I using the smoke? Am I not using the smoke to infer the fire? Yes. This is called inferential Drishtantam. Drishtantam which is a part of inferential logic. This inferential logic based Drishtantas are not there in the Shruti. Shastram doesn't have examples to infer anything, but it has examples only to convey the truth. And the confusion between these two Drishtantas is terrible. All over the world, these confusions are too many in the world. What is the example for Brahman being unlimited? Just as space is unlimited, therefore Brahman also should be unlimited. Is it not stupidity? Space is unlimited, therefore Brahman is unlimited. It is stupidity. Because you are not inferring the vastness, you are not inferring the unlimitedness of Brahman. Space is used by the Shruti only to convey the unlimitedness of Brahman. Thus there are two kinds of Drishtanta. Are you clear? Therefore this desire, a problem, something to renounce, to have something to achieve, to have something to be elated about, or to have something to be angry about. In all these situations are considered to be bondage by Ashtavakraji. He is right, they are all bondage, because even the symptoms of bondage are bondage. But the real bondage is, these are not real bondage. The real bondage, fundamental bondage is the adhyasa, the sense of the notion that I am, the misconception that I am the form. The I is the form. I happens to be unlimited. The unlimited is felt only in the form of one's own existence. And that I is taken to be the form. That misconception, that tie between the truth and a form, the tie between, that is called a kind of a tie, notional tie. When I mistake the rope for snake, it's a kind of a tie. A notion, all other words fall flat. The best is adhyasa, the misconception about the evident. is the bondage. Then when is freedom? It is said next verse. Tada muktir yada chittam na vanchati na shochati na munchati na grinhati na hrishyati na kupyati. Tada muktihi, then is freedom. Yada, when. Chittam, the mind. Na vanchati, it has nothing to desire. I am translating it like it has nothing to desire. Na shochati, it has nothing to worry about. Na munchati, it has nothing to get rid of. Na grinhati, it has nothing to achieve. Na hrishyati, it has nothing to be elated about. Na kupyati, it has nothing to be frustrated about. Even though it is true, but yet there is a truer reason. The reason for the real freedom is to understand the truth is ever free. The self is it's not confined, that is freedom. The self is not confined. Understanding that the self is not confined is mukti. In fact, the sense of confinement is bondage. The understanding that it is not confined is mukti. If you want one more word, the sense that one's existence is conditioned by the form, conditioned by the body, limited by the body, is bondage. Understanding that it is not conditioned is freedom. All other things are exercises. Exercises don't mean anything. Any spiritual exercise, spiritual meditation, spiritual these exercises, they don't mean anything. They may give you some relative benefit, but these exercises don't expect them to give you moksha, freedom. Don't expect them to correct your misconception. Therefore, Atma Anatma Viveka is the best thing that you can do. Looking at your own existence has no match. Your presence, and accept that man is ready to do everything. That is Maya, really. I am understanding now more and more what is Maya. Hey Bhagavan, you tell the truth, he is not receptive. You talk about Rama, he is not interested. You talk about Ravana, he comes alive. There is something there. Therefore, the best thinking that you can do in life is look at your own conscious presence. You are not a blend of consciousness and form, please. Chew this statement. Chew this. One's existence is not a blend. Every living being is a solely conscious being. It is solely consciousness. It is solely conscious. Let this be reflection. Association with the form or equation with the form, association with the form or equation with the form is due to lack of reflection. I feel I am a form because I don't look at myself. I don't look at myself. Don't ask questions how long it has been, when did it begin, why did it begin, all these unnecessary questions. You are free to ask questions, but they are all invalid questions. But you will spend years and still you may not understand the invalidity of those questions. Therefore, just leave them straight away. Instead of some भोजन का थाली सामने आती है जी. Your food plate comes before you. Food comes on a platter from Bhagavan. And instead of eating it, you say, ये vegetable कहाँ से लाए थे? ये चावल कौन सी मार्केट से लाए थे? कौन बनाए? क्यों जी? Just eat the food and forget it. If you are too brilliant, all these things are allowed. See, a person who doesn't have much of time in this life, and he doesn't have also such a brilliant mind to go into various details, just gobble up. Just gobble up the food, ji. Swallow food and feel comfortable. Don't entertain doubts unnecessary. Your existence cannot have any doubt. You cannot have any doubt. Think about something about which you can't have any doubt. It's not possible to have any doubt. That you are conscious, you can't have any doubt about it. Sit down and then say, I am and I am conscious. To be conscious, it is only to be conscious. It's not to do conscious. To be conscious is not an action. It's not in the form of thinking. It's not in the form of doing. A conscious act is different from to be conscious, to be aware. And therefore, discern between your conscious identity and the form. Baki exercises have no meaning. Next verse ji. Tada bandho yada chittam saktam kasvapi drishtishu tada moksho yada chittam asaktam sarvadrishtishu tada bandha, the bondage is felt then. Yada, when. Saktam, you are attached. Kasu api drishtishu, in some of the perceptions you have attachment to some of the perceptions. Like this object you like, and therefore you are attached to the perception of that object. Here, even though it is drishtishu is given here, but we have to translate it as the objects of perception. Because in Vyavahara, objects look like objects of perception. In analysis, when we understand, then we understand in the topic. In the context of understanding Vedanta, we analyze and understand that the objects of perception are not different from perception. But in Vyavahara, they all look like objects of perception. Therefore, attachment is not to the perception, attachment is to the object of perception. When you are attached to some objects, that is bondage. When you are attached to some objects in this world, you are attached to certain people, you are attached to certain forms, and you think about it, and you have anxiety about it. This is again the immediate reason for discomfort or bondage. This is the immediate reason for discomfort, I would say. And Ashtavakraji says, when is the freedom? Tada moksha, then is moksha. Yada, when. Chittam, the mind. Asaktam, it is unattached. Sarva drishtishu, in unattached to any object. Attachment is bondage. Freedom from attachment is freedom. This is how he defines. But attachment is not bondage. Attachment builds up into. Attachment is sadi, not anadi. He is right, but yet a student of Vedanta must understand these are all just symptoms of the fundamental problem. But the fundamental problem is a misconception that I am the form. It's not even attachment to the form. Don't be attached to the body, etc. It's all wrong. It is all really very, very embarrassing statement. If a scholar says don't be attached to your body, it is too embarrassing. A Vidwan is not supposed to say that. You don't have an attachment to the body. There is a misconception. Adhyasa is the problem. Because what is consciousness is obviously consciousness. Consciousness is like the light. The matter is like the consciousness cannot be objectified and the body cannot be conscious of. So the body and one's existence are like the light and darkness, and yet they are confused. You see, even the light and darkness are confused for each other due to lack of understanding that this is the light and this is darkness. Tamah prakashavat viruddha swabhavayoha, Bhagavan says. It's amazing, he says, just as you can't mistake the light for darkness and vice versa. But that is what is there here felt. I am Deha is like mistaking the light for darkness. To be conscious is the light. The body doesn't even feel its own existence, it is darkness. And therefore, we don't have attachment to the body, please. There is an equation with the form. Attachment is always for the children. Attachment is for objects. Attachment is for, that is called mamatvam. I can get attached to what I am related to. I can get attached to my nation, my country. I am related to, I get attached to it. Wherever there is relationship, there can be attachment, there can be detachment, there can be indifference. All emotions thrive in a realm of relationships. When there is an object, I can love it, I can hate it, I can be frustrated with it. Every emotion thrives in a context of a relationship, Dvaitam. If there is no relationship, then there is no emotion, Ji. There is no impulse. I mean, supposing there were no relation, but it is not possible. Without knowing the truth, it is not possible to get out of a relationship, and it is not possible to get out of emotions. Therefore, the context of a relationship, the phenomenon of relationship, and the phenomenon of impulses, emotions, and the phenomenon of attachment, detachment, etc., it is all in the context of avidya. And therefore, don't say, our problem is not attachment to the body, please. Please don't be detached. Don't ignore the health. You will suffer more. You have to look after your deha, and what is to be handled is the misconception that one's existence is the form. Correcting a misconception is a different thing from detaching. Therefore, Ashtavakraji thinks attachment is bondage, detachment is freedom, moksha. That is all right. That is topical problem. The symptom of samsara is attachment, and the symptom of freedom is detachment, freedom from attachment. The topical definition of bondage is attachment, and topically it is detachment, or it is free from attachment, freedom from attachment. That is called moksha. But fundamentally, bondage is misconception, error, and the correction is the moksha. Up to that point, one doesn't feel like going. He would love to believe. He would love to feel secure only in these topical matters. Swamiji said, attachment is the problem, detachment is the solution. Therefore, from today onwards, I can practice detachment. Because you get a topic. People get topics and routines, and they find there some kind of security. But this is all nothing. If you are attached, it doesn't mean anything. If you are detached to things, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. If a wave gets attached to other waves, it means nothing. If it is detached from other waves also, it means nothing. It can still suffer. The wave has to understand, I am water. Clear, ji? The last verse of the Prakarana. Yada naham tada mokshaha. Yadaham bandhanam tada. Matveti helaya kinchit. Ma grihana vimunchama. Yada na aham, if there is no ahankara. Here aham means here dehoham is called aham. But that is also a very beautiful definition of aham. Dehoham is called aham. That is called ahankara. But in the society, ahankara means more of vanity. That is nothing, ji. If you have vanity, it doesn't mean anything. If you are very humble, it doesn't mean anything. Is it true, Swamiji? Yes, it doesn't mean anything. If you are humble, you are exploited. If you are having vanity, you will exploit. बस इतना ही फर्क है. और क्या है जी? These are all nothing for the Vidwans, for great students of Vedanta. These are all nothing. We respect them, but that's not the answer. Neither vanity is the problem, nor humility is the answer. Aham, when there is a misconception that I am deha, yada na aham, when there is no aham, tada, then moksha, there is moksha. When there is no ahankara, ahankara means when there is no misconception that I am deha, there is moksha. Yada aham, when there is ahankara, when there is a misconception that I am the deha, bandhanam tada, then there is definitely bondage. Now this is the real definition of freedom and bondage. Misconception about one's existence is bondage. Freedom from misconception is freedom. And in the second line he says, therefore the effort, the adhyanam has to be done. The Vedanta should be studied. One's existence has to be studied only for understanding its nature. Our swadhyaya should not be in the form of some mental exercise. Live a normal life and think of, be educated about your existence. Quiet reflection about your conscious identity and the body. And in the second line, Bhagavan says, Matveti helaya kinchit, thinking about something, matva, having thought of something. Helaya means with some irresponsible expectation. Helaya means, it is some kind of a hela. Hela means, some irresponsible expectation. Kinchit, ma grihana. Don't try to achieve something with some expectation. Vimunchima, and don't renounce anything expecting happiness. If you expect happiness through achievement, you are being irresponsible. If you renounce something expecting happiness through it, you are being irresponsible. Maybe achievement is related to your survival, or renunciation may be related to your survival, but not to your fullness. But some comfort it may give, some comfort it may give you, but that is also within the realm of discomfort. Every comfort, all topical comforts are within the context of the fundamental discomfort. Did you hear this? What did I say? I said, all your topical comforts are within the context of the fundamental discomfort of embodiment. Like you give bhandara to a person in Tihar. So it is a bhandara, great comfort, but within the context of prison house. Within the prison house. And therefore, sometimes giving up something makes you comfortable. I understand it. It's a part of survival. Sometimes achieving something makes you comfortable. But all these comforts that we achieve in life by achieving something or renouncing something or through self-control or through any exercise, all these exercises and actions and duties, whatever we do, may give us some comfort in life. But that comfort is fundamentally within the context of the discomfort. And what is that discomfort? The sense of confinement to the form, the body. All comforts are within the realm of the fundamental discomfort. Like bhandara within the Tihar. Clear, Ji? That is enough for today. Then, 9th Prakarana we are going to start. When are we going to start the 9th Prakarana? That is on Wednesday. We have one more class, Ji. And after that, we will have the Wednesday class. And after that, we are going to suspend the classes till 16th of October. 16th we have the class. That also happens to be Monday. Okay, Ji, till then, enjoy your vacation and don't feel depressed. And don't say, Oh, we are missing the classes. Why should you miss the classes? There is so much in your mind. Why should you miss anything in life? Don't miss anything. Just enjoy. There are so many parks in Delhi. Delhi people are very lucky, ji. Just take a flask full of coffee and go to just stray into any park and aram se, anand se rahe. Live under the sky. Be in God's creation. And therefore, look after yourself well and see you. Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.